BAC members, BAC Secretariat, BAC Technical Working Group, of course, our observers, prospective bidders, and of course, to all our viewers via YouTube live streaming. We will conduct the private conference for Civil Works project with contract ID numbers 24DD01 and services with contract ID number 24GDD003 to 24GDD004. May I request our BAC Secretariat, Engineer Christine A. Luwalhati, for the roll call of attendees.
Good morning. BAC person, Engineer Evan D. Gonzalez, BAC member, Engineer Jose Crisosama Villalobos Jr., provisional BAC member for all types of procurement, and Mr. Rodel Baril, provisional BAC member for goods and services. From BAC Secretariat, Yours truly, Christine A. Luwalhati, Ms. Maria Cecilia Baril, Ms. Arlene Montuano, and Ms. Raquel C. Mercado. From BAC TWG, Engineer Eden Laico. To enhance the transparency of the private conference, we have invited our observer. For prospective bidders, we have no attendees. In attendance, we have 4 BAC members present, so we have quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Luwalhati. Before we proceed to our agenda, let me remind you the purpose of this conference. So under Section 22.3 of 2016 Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations of Republic Act 9184 is discuss, clarify, and explain, among other things, the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid, including questions and clarification raised by the prospective bidders before and during the contract, meaning the main of void rated failed bidding documents during the preliminary evaluation of bids is explicit during the bidding will apply with the procedure prescribed and to what we are going to discuss here today. So the private conference provides the procuring entities and the prospective bidders clear guidelines and provide an avenue for clarification to enhance efficient and effective procurement process. The topic to be discussed will be divided into 4 as follows. Letter A, brief explanation of criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, and post-qualification, and last, contract data, awarding. So the question or comments for the prospective bidders will be entertained after all topics have been presented. During the discussion, kindly reserve your questions. Time open for all your questions and queries. So for the brief data, may I request Engineer Crisostomo M. Villalobos Jr.
For the presentation of basic contract data for contract number 2422 to 24DD01, implementing office, construction sector. For contract ID number 24DD0122, Convergence and Special Support Program, Special Road Fund, Motor Vehicle Users Charge, MVUC, as per R79, installation of roadway lighting structures along San Juan Lane. Installation of 19,310 linear meter, 710 poles solar street lights, including removal of structure obstruction. Approved budget for the contract, 98 million pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 240 calendar days. Size range, medium A, license category B. The contract to be bid. TEMS, Traffic Engineering and Management System, including road safety devices. For the similar categories of work, the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0123, organizational outcome 2, protect lives and properties against major floods, flood management program, maintenance, drainage systems, construction of revetment along Calumpang River, Ibaan, Batangas. Scope of works, construction of 858 linear meter gabions with mattresses on both sides, including embankment. Approved budget for the contract, 96,500,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 200 for medium A, license category B. For the major categories of works involved in the contract to be FC, SPS, flood control, construction, slope protection using structural measures. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0124, organizational outcome 1, safe program, construction of missing links, new roads, Lobo-Malabrigo-Laiya-San Road, San Juan section, Batangas. Scope of works, construction of 390 linear meter road with width of 14 meters and thickness of 0.28 meter. Construction of 390 linear meter line canal, construction of stone masonry on the specified stations, installation of metal guardrails and single roller system. Approved budget for the contract, 9,000 pesos. Source of funds, 0111 SR 2024-01-1115. Contract duration, 338 calendar days. Size range, medium A, license category B. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, RCP, roads, construction, PCCP. Categories of roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, RCP, roads, construction, tunnels, PCCP. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0125, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Multipurpose Facility, Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, Construction of Multipurpose Building, Barangay, Ibabao, San Juan, Batangas. Scope of works, construction of 2-story 8-classroom school building, 46 meters by 9.5 meters, including hand washing on one side, one room for faculty finishing works, mechanical works, air conditioning unit for faculty room, plumbing works, septic tank, 3.5 meters by 2.8 meters, cistern tank, electrical works, solar PV, 25 meters by 2 meters on left side, installation of 137.5 kVA transformer, auxiliary system, and furnitures for faculty room. Approved budget for the contract, 36,630,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 150 calendar days. Size range, medium A, license category B. The contract to be bid, BICWOPLC, buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0126, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support, multipurpose building, including facilities, Learning Development Center, Batangas State University, Barangay Roadway, Batangas, Package B. Scope of works, construction, completion of 3-story Learning Development Center, 8.3 meters, including mechanical works, installation of air conditioning unit, water pumping system, automatic fire sprinkler system, civil works, construction of fence, electrical works, drainage system. Approved budget for the contract, 24,750,000 pesos. Source of fund, 24 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 180 calendar days. Size range, small b, license category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, BICWOPLC, buildings without piles, price concrete 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0127, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Flood Mitigation, building facilities, construction of revetment, construction of 280 linear meter revetment with height of 4 meters using stone masonry, including ground and riprap at left side. So approved by contract, 90,800,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 135 calendar days. Size range, small b, license category C and D. For the major category of work, PS, flood control, construction, slope protection using structural measures. For the similar categories of works are the following. DD0128, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support social services, construction of multipurpose building, farmers and co-op center, Barangay Batangas. 2-story multipurpose building, 15 meters by 11.7 meters, including structural works, architectural works, sanitary works, electrical works. Approved budget for the contract, 14,850,000 pesos. Funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Duration, 150 calendar days, size range small b, license category C and D. Involved in the contract to be bid, BICWOPLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0129, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, access roads and or bridges for the roads, public facilities, Barangay Elemetary, Batangas, Phase 1. Scope of works, construction of 718 linear meter road with width of 4 meters and thickness of 0.2 meter. Construction of 27 linear meter grouted riprap head wall with height of 2.1 meter, including installation of 4 610 millimeter diameter by 6 meters RCPC and 4 by 6 meters RCPC cross drainage. Contract 9,900,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 54 calendar days. 3 license category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract, RCP, roads, construction, PCCP. PCCP, RCPP, roads, construction, tile, PCCP. For the minimum equipment requirements are the following. For Convert 24 DD0130, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Multipurpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, Improvement of Multipurpose Building, San Jose, Batangas. Scope of works, two-story multipurpose building, 12 meters by 7.95 meters, including carpentry and woodworks, installation of drywall, solid doors, and roll-up door. For Barangay Banay 1, extension of existing covered court, 2 bays, including painting works. For Barangay Natunuan, construction of bleachers at 3 sides and a fence enclosure, including painting works, electrical windows, solid doors, and tile works. Approved budget for the contract, 9,900,000 pesos. Funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 150 calendar days. Size range, small b. License category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, BIC, WOPS, buildings, construction, low pipes. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0131, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, VIP, Multipurpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, Construction of Multipurpose Building, including facilities, Barangay San Benito, Lipa City, Batangas. Fence and weight shed, 10.4 meters by 10.3 meters, including demolition of existing daycare center, structural works, architectural works, finishing works, plumbing works, electrical works, and mechanical works. Approved budget for the contract, 9,900,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2020 Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 150 calendar days. For the major categories of works involved in the contract to be bid, BIC, WOPLC, building, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0132, Convergence and Special Support Program, based on buildings, facilities to support social services, construction, rehabilitation of multipurpose buildings, in Rosario, Batangas. Scope of works for Barangay San Ignacio, construction of covered court, 34 meters by 20.5 meters, including structural works, foundation to pedestal. For Barangay San Roque, construction of covered court, 31.7 meters, foundation to pedestal, roof trusses, 3 bays. Approved budget for the contract, 8,910,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations. Contract duration, 150 calendar days. Size range, small b. License category C and D. For the major and category of works involved in the contract to be bid, BIC, WOPLS, build frame 1 to 5 story. For similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0133, Convergence is a program, basic infrastructure program, BIP, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support social services, construction of multipurpose Barangay, Batangas. Scope of works, construction, completion of 2-story multipurpose building, 15.2 meters, national conference room, installation of ceiling, tile works, furnitures, auxiliary system, air conditioning, transformer. Approved budget for the contract, 5,940,000 pesos. Source of funds, SR 2024-01-001480. Contract duration calendar days. Size range, small b. License category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, BIC, WOPLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum material testing equipment for medium contract ID numbers 24DD0122 to 24DD0125 are the following. For minimum material testing equipment for small contractors, ID numbers 24DD0126 to 24DD0133 are the following. Manpower requirements for contract ID numbers 2127 are the following. Manpower requirements for contract ID numbers 24DD0128 to 24DD0133 are the following. Power requirements, accredited safety officer required upon issuance of notice of award subject to DEO 98 series of 2014, submission of construction safety and health program approved by the Department of Labor and Employment. For additional requirements for of safety officer 3 with additional 48 hours of advanced specialized occupational safety training course relevant to the industry as prescribed in the Republic Act number 11058 issued through DO 198 series of 2018 of DOLE. First aider with certificate of training issued by Red Cross in compliance to DOLE requirements for DO 98 series of 2003. Personal experience. Experience means total years of civil works experience of any nature in construction and engineering consultancy services. 2. Include the tax identification number of the key personnel compliance to DO 98 series of 2016, revised guidelines on the accreditation of contractors, consultants, materials engineers. And 3. Include the contact number of the materials engineer. Goods and services for contract ID number 24GDD0003, purchase of 1 unit of construction and heavy equipment, implementing office, DPWH Batangas 4 District Engineering Office, ABC, 5,500,000. Delivery schedule, 90 calendar days. description of goods purchase, purchase of 1 unit of construction and heavy equipment. For 24G, DEO unit of service vehicle, implementing office Batangas 4, district engineering office, ABC 2,400,000 pesos. We need to reschedule. Brief description of the goods to be purchased, purchase of 1 unit of service vehicle. Thank you.
Tomo M. Villalobos. So, for the continuation, let us first acknowledge the presence of our auditor,
Yes.
Auditor Romy Magsino.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning po.
So, again, I request Engineer Christine Luwalhati to further explain the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of the contract.
For the checklist of technical and financial proposal for civil works projects, shows the checklist of the technical proposal. Technical proposal must be composed of the following: for Class A documents, legal document, valid field registration certificate must be platinum membership. And under Section 8.5.36 of revised IRR, the bidder shall upload and maintain the field of the current updated file of the following Class A registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. The report the proprietorship or Elemetary CBA for properties. Next, mayors of business the municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the document for exclusive economic zones or areas. A recently expired mayor's and business permit together with the official receipt as proof that the prospective bidder concerned local government unit shall be accepted by the villagers for the purpose of updating the field certificate of registration and membership in accordance with Section 8.5 of 2016 revised IRR. Next is tax clearance for EO number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. And for technical documents, statement of the bidder of all is ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. Similar in nature to be the statement of the bidder singular just completed contract or SLC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Next is valid Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board or pickup license, or special pickup license in case of joint ventures, and registration for the time and cost of the contract to be bid. Next is original copy of bid security, with the form of surety bonds and with also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original for requirements which shall include the following. First is the organizational chart for the contract to be bid. Next is duly signed list of contractors, key personnel. Example given is a project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, construction safety officer, and foreman to be assigned to the contract with their complete qualification and experience date. These personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience in the BDS. Next, sign the contract which are all these are supported by proof of ownership, lease, purchase, or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the projects. These equipment needs must meet the minimum major equipment requirements for the contract set in the BDS. Duly signed and authorized omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 25.3 of 2016 revised IRR. And for financial documents, the prospective statement, prospectus total and current assets and liabilities, stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the bidding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. For Class B documents, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement or JVA in accordance with RE number 4566 and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective field of certificate of registration in accordance with Section 8.5 of the revised IRR. The submission of technical and financial eligibility provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all its ongoing contracts and audited financial statements. The bidding forms for technical documents. Reminder from the prospective bidder that the bidder shall use the bidding forms. The bidder may download these forms from DPWH website. The bidder may also obtain from procuring entity hard copies of those party as for purposes of determining the eligibility of bidders using the criteria stated in Section 23.4 2016 revised IRR. Only the following documents shall be required by the bank. Use forms prescribed in the bidding documents. Bidding documents with prescribed forms shall be considered as compliant. So this is the bid securing declaration. Next is the contractor's organizational chart, the list of contractors' key personnel, and key personnel's affidavit, and omnibus sworn statement. Shown is the checklist of the financial proposal. Financial proposal shall be composed of the following. First is the original of duly signed accomplished financial bid form. Next is original of duly signed bid prices and bid of quantities. Next is duly accomplished detailed estimates for, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in a coming up with the bid. And last is cash flow by quarter. Financial study form, the summary of bid prices, the bill of quantities, and cash flow by quarter. And for goods and services, shown is the checklist of the technical proposal. Technical proposal must be composed of the following. For Class A documents, legal documents, valid field registration certificate is also platinum membership. Next is the registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Department of CTA for cooperative is equivalent document. Next is mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. Next is tax clearance for EO number 398, series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. And for technical documents, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts for the nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Next is statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Next is the original copy of bid security. If in the form of surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. Next is conformity with the technical specifications, which may include product delivery schedule, manpower requirements, or sales for original duly signed notarized omnibus sworn statement if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of corporation or partnership or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all the members of the joint venture giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and the WACs to represent the bidder. Next is to financial documents, the financial statements showing among others the prospective bidder's total and current asset and liabilities, stamp received by the BIR earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. The prospective bidder's financial contracting capacity or net NFCC or an committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. For Class B documents, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement or JVA in accordance with RA 4566 and its IRR. In case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners of the JVA in the instance that the bid is successful. Shown is the schedule of requirements and technical specification for 24 GDD 0003. The schedule of requirements and technical specifications for 34 GDD 0004. The bidding forms for technical documents. Shown is the list of all ongoing contracts. The list of single largest completed projects. Bid securing declaration. Shown is the checklist of the financial proposal. Financial proposal shall be composed of the following. First, the original of the design of accomplished financial bid form and original of the design and accomplished price schedules. The bidding forms for financial documents. Shown is the bid form, the price schedule for goods offered. For purchase and submission of bids, a complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders at bidders must have an approved appointment with specific time schedule. In case it will automatically make a cancellation of appointment. Please be informed that on the day of bid opening, the purchase bidding documents will be limited prospective bidders only to strictly follow the bid opening schedule and secure the appointment to DPWH Batangas for appointment at gmail.com. Bids submitted manually must be duly received by the Secretariat at bidding room City, Batangas on or before it's March 12, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. For electronic submission of bids for civil works projects, it must be sent at electronic bids_Batangas4@dpwh.gov.ph on or before March 12, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. The procedure should be observed following Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020. It is also needed in our bid leadership. Bids visually are as a registered liaison officer as reflected in the Contractor's Registration Certificate or CRC for civil works projects only, and authorized representatives who are required to present their company ID and one government-issued ID for the verification purposes. Thank you.
Thank you. Clear, precise, and fast discussion. And now, may I request Engineer Pet Brian A. Amaya to discuss the criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, and post-qualification.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For civil works projects, examination of bids. For technical proposal, the purpose of this examination is solely to determine the presence or absence of each of the required documents comprising the bid, as stated in the section 3.5.2, using a simple, non-discretionary pass if present or fail if absent criterion with the aid of checklists. The batch shall first open and undertake a preliminary examination of the envelopes containing the technical components of the bids. The batch shall determine each bidder's compliance with documents. If the required document is present, the technical component shall be rated as passed for that particular requirement. On the other hand, if the required document is absent, basically insufficient, the technical component shall be as failed for that particular requirement. The batch shall rate the technical component as failed and immediately return to the bidder concerned its second envelope. Financial component open. Versus 2016 revised IRR, which are the R4 online or electronic bid submissions, shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission, subject to the submission of the original copies of the following. First, bid security declaration or other forms of bid security excluding cash, and the omnibus warrant statement. These forms shall be submitted by the bidder to and duly received by the bank concerned during the post-qualification stage. The national the bid submission as non-compliant and shall result in the post-disqualification of the bid. After the preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids, the BAC, assisted by its BAC secretariat, shall conduct the eligibility check of each bidder that passes for the technical components of the bids. The BAC shall determine if the bidder is eligible to bid for the contract bid electronically using the DPWH CWA. The CWA program will then electronically process and match the bidder's capability or eligibility data in the CWA. Value the SLCC for the major or similar categories of works and actual NFCC against the eligibility requirements for the contract delivered from the CP earlier entered into the CWA under section 4.8.2. Required SLCC cost at least ABC. The computer program will automatically determine if the bidder meets the following eligibility requirements. First, the cost of the bidder's SLCC is at least 50% of the EPC of the project to be procured. Second, the bidder's setup is equal to EPC of the project to be procured. However, the contractors under small B category without similar experience in the contract to be bid may be allowed to bid up to 30 million based on the guidance. The BAC shall open a second envelope, financial proposal of each past bidder, and shall evaluate it using the discretionary criteria, including arithmetical correction for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The BAC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. Receipt of the scanned copies of the second bid envelope with the required forms such as duly signed bid form, price schedules, or other forms 2016 revised IRR for electronic or online bid submission shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission. The BAC will immediately conduct detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria, considering the following: completeness of the bid, unless the instruction to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities, will be disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive, but specifying a zero or dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by the law or regulation to be provided for. And for arithmetical corrections, consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may be also considered bid modification. The adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figure and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as accepted or multiplied with the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. Stating the total price and the actual sum of prices of the component items, the latter shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bids shall in the ascending order of the total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications to identify the lowest calculated bid. Total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bids modification which exceed the ABC shall be disqualified. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the certified in the bidding documents. Within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the BAC that the bidder has bid, the bidder shall submit to the BAC its latest income and business tax returns and other appropriate licenses and permits required by the law and stated in the bidding documents. failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time, or a finding against the veracity of therefore the in the event that the finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with the section 69 of this IRR. The post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the Biljet certificate of registration and membership in accordance with the section 8.5. Other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder with the lowest calculated bid, using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. This criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following: for legal requirements, to verify, validate, and ascertain the licenses, certificates, and permits and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any block list as provided in section 25.3 of the 2016 revised IR. For technical requirement, and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project for the procurement of the infrastructure projects and consulting services. Verification of availability and commitment, and/or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment units to be owned, leased, under purchased by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding, as well as checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any government contracts at least 15% in any projects, or a negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts. Second, failure of the contract to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 calendar days, and to complete them with 30 calendar days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. Third, failure of the contractor to commence repair on the contracts with pending certificates and acceptance in 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. Fourth, substandard quality of work as per contract plans and specifications. Satisfactory performance of the contractor's obligation as per contract terms and condition at time of inspection. Lastly, DEO Department Order Number 127, Series of 2018, strictly application of Republic Act 9184 in the conduct of the post-qualification of bidders, delayed ongoing contract. If the bank verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor for the award for the procurement of infrastructure projects. For financial requirements, to verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price proposal, the bid, and whenever applicable, the bidder's NFCC, to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the bank detects that the bidder with the lowest calculated qualification, it shall declare that the said bidder is the lowest calculated responsive bid. For goods and services, the BAC shall then conduct the preliminary examination of bids. The purpose of this examination is solely to determine the presence of the bid as stated in section 3.5.2, using a simple non-discretionary pass, if present, or fail if absent criteria, with the aid of checklist. The bank shall first open and undertake the preliminary examination of the envelopes containing the technical components of the bids. The bank shall determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the technical component. If the required document is present, the technical component shall be rated as passed for that particular requirement. On the other hand, if the required document is patently insufficient, the technical component shall be rated as failed for the particular requirement. The bank shall rate the technical as failed and immediately refer to the bidder concerned in its second envelope financial component unopened. Immediately after determining compliance with the requirements in the first envelope, the bank shall open the financial components of the bids of each eligible bidder whose first bid envelope was rated pass. The bank detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria, considering the following. For first, completeness of the bid. Unless the instructions to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including where applicable, bill of quantities shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-satisfying for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulation to be provided for. And for arithmetical corrections, consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modification if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. Verification made and documents submitted. For legal requirements, licenses, certificate, permits, agreement, and exclusion in any blacklist, tax clearance, business permit, DTI registration, SEC certificate, including authority of signing official, PILJEPS certification, PILJEPS registration certification. For financial requirements, the required committed line of credit maximize over the period that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. Verification and or inspection and testing of goods or product after sales and or maintenance capabilities in applicable cases, as well as checking the following. Delay in the partial delivery of goods amounting to 10% of the contract price in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these contracts shows the bidder's failure to deliver or perform any of goods or services within periods specified in the contract or within any extension thereof granted by the procuring entity pursuant to a request made by the supplier prior to the delay, and such failure amount to at least 10% of the contract price, or unsatisfactory performance of the supplier's obligation as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. If the bank verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the bidder's fault or negligence, the bank shall disqualify.
Thank you, Engineer Pet Brian Abaya. We will be missing our familiar honorable lines. Loud and clear voice. Alis na kasi. So, contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. In accordance with Department Order Number 11 of 2021 and Republic Act 9184 of Regulation of Section 37.1.4, the NOAA shall require the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bids to submit to the procuring entity within 10 calendar days from the receipt of from the bidder's receipt of NOAA the following documents as condition for the signing of the contract. Letter A, notice of award. Letter B, of deciding official or board resolution or secretary's certificate. Letter C, for a joint venture, contractors become special JV license and JV agreement. Letter D, performance security in accordance with the section with form DPWH INFR-45. Letter F, construction schedule in the form of the precedence diagram and bar chart with S-card or other project using form DPWH INFR-46. Letter G, manpower schedule using DPWH form INFR-47. Letter H, equipment utilization schedule using form DPWH-INFR-48. Letter I, construction safety and health program using form DPWH-INFR-49, initially approved by letter J, controllers or CARE. Letter K, latest income tax and business returns duly stamped and received by duly validated with the tax payment made, tax clearance from the BIR to prove full and timely payment of the taxes. And last, letter L, for a local contractor, certification under oath stating that the contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities. Performance security. The performance security valid until issuance by the procuring entity of the certificate of acceptance. Next, for the performance security, may be released by the procuring entity after the issuance of the certificate of final acceptance of, subject to the following condition. Letter A, procuring entity has no claims filed against the contract awardee or the surety company. As procurement of infrastructure projects, the winning bidder shall post an additional performance security following the schedule above to cover any cumulative increase of more than 10% over the original value of the contract as a result of amendments to order of change orders, extra work orders, supplemental agreements as the extension of the validity of the performance security to cover approved contract time extension. Contractors all risk insurance or CARE as per Department Order number 172 series of 1994. Additional premiums shall only be paid in cases where contract time is extended due to additional works or where project cost is increased for similar reason without necessarily extending the contract time. The approval of the applicable variation order, change orders, extra work orders, supplemental payment in full value of the approved addition. Any supplemental bid bulletin issued by the PAC shall be posted on the PILJEPS and the website of the procuring entity concerned if available. Other matters. All bidding documents shall be printed in A4 size bond paper, properly united with its contents. All attached replicated documents shall be inserted, and all pages of the bid are duly signed by the prospective bidder. So let's go to the open forum. So, prospective bidders, do you have any questions? Again, to our prospective leaders, to the viewers, attendees, wala. So, It seems everything is clear. No more question. I hear my word. February 29, 2024. Adjourn at exactly 10:15. Maraming salamat po.